My next guest tonight has dedicated herself to raising the public profile of the issue of gender affirmation therapy across the Western world. Jennifer Lahl is a documentarian and founder of the Centre for Bioethics and Culture Network. She also directed, co-wrote and co-produced 3 important documentaries on the subject. The first, Transmission, What's the Rush to Reassign Gender?, explored the medical ethics of administering puberty blocking and cross-sex hormone in children. The Detransition Diaries, Saving Our Sisters, told the stories of 3 young women who transitioned to living life as if they were men, only to realise that they are indeed women. And completing the trilogy, this just released, The Lost Boys, Searching for Manhood, in which 5 young men describe their experiences with gender dysphoria and their quest to find peace in their natural male bodies. Let's have a look at a clip.
I made terrible mistakes throughout my young adulthood, including going down the transgender path. However, medical professionals really led me astray with this. Some people they're messed up for life. I'll never be able to have kids. My rugged masculinity is never going to come back. It's all patient-led. It's patient-led. I want to do hormones and I want to have this surgery. And I think what they should do is a high-quality assessment and have some kind of safeguarding for people. I just don't like the idea of being collateral damage for this movement. I don't think that's fair.
And Jennifer joins me now from California. Welcome to the show, Jennifer, and congratulations
Hi, Andrew.
on the
Thanks
film.
for having me.
No worries at all. So could you tell us a little bit about the genesis of this film? You'd obviously made films on this subject previously, but this very much is focusing on young men, isn't it?
Yes, and well, I really appreciated one of your previous guests talking about pediatric medicine in the context of the Cass report. And I was a pediatric critical care nurse for almost 20 years. But after we made the Detransition Diaries, which focused on young women, we had an outpouring of parents come to us and say, please tell the story of our sons, because everybody's talking about the girls and nobody's talking about the young men. And so we quickly produced The Lost Boys, Searching for Manhood, which was generously, overwhelmingly funded by parents with young boys. And we've seen an uptick of what's called rapid onset gender dysphoria in young boys. And we wanted to explore what's going on with our young men.
Yes, I think a lot of people forget, don't they, that this is affecting boys as well, because the vast majority of the new cases of so-called gender dysphoria are female. They forget that, of course, it does affect boys as well. But what exactly can be done? Because my understanding is that the Cass review in America isn't really being covered extensively on the American media. It's kind of being ignored. But isn't it really, really crucial that people find out the dangers that are involved?
It really is, Andrew. And the irony is I live in California, which has become one of our sanctuary states. So, gender-confused children from other states where laws have been passed that ban this can now flock to California. And, our taxpayer dollars will fund a gender affirmation therapy. I live in the backyard. I'm a neighbor of Michael Schellenberger, who released the WPATH files. And it is really very unfortunate that the Cass report, the WPATH files, 2 very important documents, powerful documents, well-sourced documents, aren't seeming to have much difference in the debate here in the United States.
So why is this? Because we're talking about so-called progressives, people who think that they're on the right side of history, and yet we know from the WPATH files, from the Cass review, that this is disproportionately affecting gay youths.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting because my own little incubator here in California, we have a very progressive state, and we actually have very progressive Democratic parents who are leading the way to try to get a ballot initiative on our ballot this coming November that says that, minors can't have their puberty blocked, that children can't change their names and boys can't be in the girls' bathrooms and play on sports, that schools can't hide the fact that their children are using pronouns or different names at school. So I am really actually hopeful that this will, because it's impacting parents, and parents really, they don't care politically where you are. If you come after their children, they're going to push back. And so I think if we have any kind of success in the United States, it's going to be parent driven. Secondarily, it will be people like, the work that I'm doing, the work that Michael Schellenberg is doing, GenSPAC. There's plenty of organizations that are doing work, but you come after people's children, and you poke the beast.
Is part of the problem that those who are known as detransitioners, in other words, those who have undertaken surgery and then regretted it later on, that they're pretty much invisible in the media, and they get a lot of flack from trans activists who really do give them hell online? Is it the case that we're just not hearing enough from them? And is your film, to a degree, rectifying that?
I hope so. I mean, absolutely. You see what happens to those detransition people that are active on social media. You know, they're called all kinds of horrible things, and it's no wonder that the underbelly, so many more people have detransitioned. You know, the Reddit group of detransition people is in the tens of thousands and growing every single day. But it's no wonder they don't want to speak out, because they see what happens. And in all honesty, many of them, they just want to get back and pick up the pieces of their life. They don't necessarily want to be a spokesperson for the cause. You know, they're hoping that maybe their fertility hasn't been ruined, maybe their long-term health hasn't been damaged. You know, they talk about being patients for life. So I think there's a lot more out there. And, you know, the media doesn't do any help in being charitable and generous with allowing the detransitioners to speak.
Tell us a little bit more about the film itself. You spoke to a small group of detransitioners, of people who do regret their surgery. Were there any common recurrent themes that came up during the course of your discussions with these individuals? Yeah,
you know, one thing we noticed, especially on the heels of the Detransition Diaries book, which was focused on the young women, puberty is very, as Dr. Joe Burgo in the film says, you know, male puberty is forceful. So the puberty experience of young men is very different. You know, the impact of pornography and really rigid sex stereotypes. You know, if you want to be a gentle, or as Richie in the film says, a soft boy, you know, that's sort of frowned upon. One of the young boys in the film talks about picking up his mother's purse. He was just doing a nice thing, helping his mother carry her purse because her hands were full. And he was from a very traditional family that boys didn't do certain things. And he was scolded, and that really was an impact on his life. So the role of puberty, the role of pornography, the role of these critical, stiff sort of sex stereotypes that don't allow for all kinds of expression within maleness. And the fact that I think Graham Linehan in the film speaks very well. You know, boys want to laugh at things that maybe they get judged for laughing at things that they just naturally, as boys, find funny. And, you know, there's not that freedom. And you wonder today why young boys are looking for, whether it be Andrew Tate or whether it be Joe Rogan's and, you know, Jordan Peterson, you know, they're looking for role models for what does it mean to be a man today.
Now, the film, as I understand it, has already been screened in Scotland, I think, and you're going to be showing it very soon in London. Can you just tell us a bit about the schedule there?
Yes, it's going to be shown in London on May 29th. It was interesting. We approached a theater that would not allow us to show the film there. We had quite a bit of difficulty finding a venue, so we haven't actually released the venue, but it will be shown on May 29th. Doors open at 6 o'clock. People can go to the cbc-network.org website, and on our events page, that's where they can buy tickets. I checked this morning, there's only 10 left. It's almost sold out. So we're going to have a robust discussion after the screening of the film. Mr. Menno is going to moderate the discussion with many people that are in the film. I'll be there, and my co-writer, Gary Powell, will be there as well.
Fantastic. Well, best of luck with it, Jennifer. Really appreciate you coming onto the show to talk about it.
Thank you.
And it's absolutely astonishing to me that they couldn't find a venue to screen this film, and they've had to not release the details, but it tells you all about the situation we're in at the moment.